everyone, and welcome to the channel. I hope you're all having a great day. So today we are doing a interview here with Frank, who is part of the trucking couple. I'm sure you've seen his videos. He has mentioned me quite a few times. But yeah, we are doing part two. First part of this video, if you haven't seen it yet, it's going to be linked over on his channel. Make sure I have the link down in the description, and then you can also check up here. I'll put a link up here as well. Part one of the video was Frank interviewing me coming into expediting and what I did before. So we're going to do part two here with the interview with Frank. So Frank, thank you for being here.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. This is fun. We're having a good time. It's like I got to do it to you. Now I get to be grilled.
Awesome. So what did you do before expediting?
Well, when starting way back, I was in the military.
Oh wow!
18, I was a U.S. Air Force. I grew up in Florida, and I got shipped off to Anchorage, Alaska. They wanted to make sure that I was really into it, I guess.
Not going nowhere.
And I'd gotten married like right out of high school, and it was over very quickly. You take a new bride to Alaska from Florida, it just doesn't. You know. Anyways, while I was there, I got divorced. I'm in Alaska. It's cold, so I started going to the NCO clubs, and I was always there early because I was bored. I didn't know what to do. I didn't really have a lot of friends, and I started talking to this DJ, and the DJ started teaching me about what he was doing in the nightclub, and eventually, through my gift of gab, started talking to him and started DJing for him. I was doing it for free, but it was fun. You know,
wow,
I mean, I was 19 years old in a nightclub DJing, and I didn't care what I was doing. It was like distracting. I love music. We talked about that. So that started in that was 1986, and for 27 years I got to DJ in nightclubs all over the United States. It was really great. It was a great career.
Awesome. We both have a huge love for music. I'm into music big time myself, and I actually worked for a company called Promo Only, and we talked about that on his channel. But yeah, so that actually, they license out to club DJs and club owners and things like that. And you were actually part of the subscriber list.
For years. I still have a case. You know, our CD cases that we used to have in the day, they were like a big suitcase with 4 or 5 rows, and their promo only CDs came in a sleeve.
Yep.
And different colors, and then you'd put them in by the category, and then it'd be by the month and year, and you just had to remember what track was. Now you go on a computer and you type in Lady, and it's like every Lady Gaga song comes up that you have on your computer. Before then, you used to, you had to know where Just Dance was. You know, it was in December 2009, whatever it was, which is probably right.
Yeah.
Because that's when I remember the first time somebody came up and asked me to play Lady Gaga, and I'm like, Lady what? I'm like, what is that? Reggae person? What? I mean, I didn't know who it was. Now you say Lady Gaga, and everybody knows who it is.
Yeah.
But you'd have and I was a DJ that I did open format, so I had rock, I had I had pop, I had the dance charts, I had all. So I had 4 or 5 subscriptions coming every month. So I was getting my sleeves. You get your sleeve, and you go through all the tracks, and you listen to them, and sometimes you got a bad CD and you had to send it back, and it was this whole thing, and it was like, but yeah, it was it's something that it's a commonality between us that exists that we can really understand, because you were on the side that was pushing the CDs out, and I was on the receiving end of it.
All right. I always did enjoy working there. It was
because you got free music, right?
I did. Every month I got 6 discs free, so we could choose 4 audio and 2 DVD. So.
And do you still have all your discs?
I actually do. They're in the bottom of my closet. Huge CD cases. Yeah,
you need to digitize all that. Do you have them all on your iTunes?
No.
See, I've got probably, wow. Well, we talked about Garth. I got his whole complete library. I got to give that to you.
So after DJing, you did that for 20-something years?
Yeah, 27 years. The last 5 years of my DJing career, I got into country music. Um, Country was getting really big. Jason Aldean was coming out, and it was a total mistake that had happened. Ended up working for a club, and then things ended at that club, which DJs, we're very fluid. We end up one club to another club, usually a little bit of time in between. And it's not always a grass is greener thing. It's sometimes, I worked in one club for 7.5 years straight, which is, a long time for a DJ. But I started feeling that age creep up on me, because it was a digital age. I was heading into my 50s. I was starting to see all these young kids who didn't have any responsibilities.
Yeah.
They got their music for free. They got all these remix sites. They're doing, Fat Man Scoop. Yeah! All this other stuff. All the Lil Jon and the party rock anthems and all this other stuff. And I'm like, oh, man, this is all changing. It's like, get everybody. So I was like, okay, I need to figure out an exit strategy. And there was a time, I had a friend who had gotten into the car hauling business. And I was, coming back to another club, and I had worked at this club before, and I had left, and I was coming back, and it wasn't an optimal situation. It just didn't feel like it had the longevity that I was going to need. And I started saying, okay, I need to figure out something. So through the coaching of my friend Mark, who owns a company called Auto Caddy Transport, he coached me. I bought a truck. I bought a trailer. I got my own authority. Knew nothing about trucking. Went right out of it.
Jumped right in.
I jumped right in, and started hauling cars and started hauling RVs. Well, Stephanie was in the bartending business, and she was about going at 20 years in, and her tolerance for drunks was like, she was on a hair trigger, and she was over society. And so we started doing this. It was successful. One of my trucks got totaled my first year of business.
Wow.
On the 80 in Laramie in the winter. Imagine that. That road eats a lot of trucks.
A lot.
Yeah. And so I did that for a while. I got to the point that it had replaced my DJ income part-time. So when it replaced my DJ income, I started doing it full-time. And I said to Stephanie, she was very unhappy with what she was doing. I said, why don't you get your CDL and come out on the road and do this with me? So she had one of those bad nights, and she called me, and she decided that's what she wanted to do. But she wanted to go to school. She wanted to go, full-blown, go through a whole school and learn how to do it and everything. So she went and got her CDLA and hit the road with me, and it was different. And the nice thing about having a CDLA is when you come to a straight truck expediting, you only need a class B. So you're actually, for all intents and purposes, you're over licensed for the position.
Right.
So she got her CDLA, and these are automatic transmissions. And I started seeing FedEx Custom Critical trucks on the road. But I was having the same thing. What is that called?
Yeah.
So I just started Googling FedEx Custom Critical. Well, when you Google FedEx Custom Critical, you come up with their site that doesn't really tell you about the job, and it's an independent contractor model. So they're not after drivers, they're after people who want to sign on trucks.
Right.
So I eventually found my way to Expediters online, and you're going to love this. I went in there, I don't know anything about the business, right? So I put in an ad, and I go, I own my own transport business. My wife are CDL holders. We have a gypsy soul. We really don't like to go home. We really don't want to spend the money on buying a truck right now, because until we do it first. Is there anybody interested in a team like us?
Wow.
My phone blew up. And Patrick emailed me, and I talked to him, and Patrick had an industry background also. He was a sound engineer. So we clicked. And you've talked to Patrick.
Yeah.
Salt of the earth type person. He's just a real person. And I clicked with him from the get-go. And with me, it's all about that. There's so many people out here that will tell you whatever to get your butt in that seat.
Absolutely.
And I came over here in April will be 4 years that I've been here, and I've had the opportunity to leave, but I love what I'm doing. I've had 3 trucks. You're already on your second.
Yeah.
You're in a bathroom truck, and your third is coming.
Yeah.
Brand new truck coming for Jerry. So that's coming, and I think that's important about our culture and not plugging what we're doing, is that things may take a little bit longer, but they happen.
Oh yeah.
If you get told something, it's going to happen. So that's where we're at, and we got into it, and we were the 3rd truck.
Wow.
Patrick and Eric were still driving. Steve and Bamley were in a used truck, and I was the 8803, which was our first brand new truck, and I went into it, and that's how I came into the company.
Oh wow.
So, and it was, talk about a small culture, but they've been that way with treating drivers and everything since day one, which was really tough in a small fleet because, you know, they didn't have the resources that they do now. I mean, you see how it is now, and it's great. It was still that good when we were doing it back then, because and now it's a little bit tough. Now we had to get mentors like you and Kelly and Carol and Paul, and there were significant others who are there to kind of be a buffer in between to help, so we can help address the problems of a larger fleet.
Right.
Which, you know, we're almost at 30 trucks now. You know, from 3.5 years ago being at 3.
Yeah.
You know, and the culture has stayed the same, which I'm sure you kind of get. It's a lot different.
Totally. Totally different. So one thing I'm curious about is coming from a car hauler to FedEx and doing expediting, what challenges did you face?
Oh man, it's so much easier. Most of our business now, we do have multiple stops sometimes where we'll pick up at one area and then we'll go make 2 or 3 drops. Some as much as 12 drops,
right.
You know, some of these special loads that FedEx is so kind to provide us with. And those are the ones we coach our people about. Is that, okay, so I had a 3-car trailer. So I'm going from LA and I'm ending up in Chicago. Well, 2 of those cars get dropped off along the way. Sometimes I have to move the back car off to get the middle car off, then pull it up and position it. But then I got to go pick up another one. Now that back car is going to be the last one off, so I have to back them all off and pull the other car up front and then position them so it's always efficient. And some of them are inoperable vehicles.
Oh wow!
You're talking about 3, 4, 5,000 pound vehicles that you're winching on in inclement weather. You know, they say that the car is inoperable. You get there, it has no wheels and tires. You know, Stephanie got to the point that she would ask them, because does it have 4 wheels and tires? Are they all aired up? Does it have brakes? Does it have an engine in the car? We got told one time that there was an engine in the truck. Like, it has all 4 wheels and tires. Yes, ma'am. It has an engine. Yes, ma'am. It brakes and steers. Yes, ma'am. We get there, the engine is in the pickup bed of the truck. But we told you it had an engine.
It was in the truck.
I was just like, you've got to be kidding. And she would make up a list. And can you imagine dealing with Stephanie on the phone with these things?
Yeah.
I mean, she would grill them. She'd try to find something wrong. And they're like, or we had to do extractions. And this, as you know, it's very clean freight.
Yeah.
Especially white glove stuff. You know, forklifts don't go in our trucks a lot.
Right.
And when they do, we have to put landing gear down, which Heather and Jason do every time. But she's got a button she pushes.
She took the easy route.
Yeah. But most of the places, I mean, I can't believe, you know, we'll go pick up and, well, wasn't your last load like, how many pounds was it?
The last one that we did was 200.
200-pound load.
Yeah.
Our trucks can carry 15,000 pounds. You know, with 3 axles, they're all FET trucks. They can carry 15,000 pounds. How often do you see a load that's over 2,000 pounds?
Not very often.
How many times in your career have you seen a 10,000 pound load?
In my career, that's almost 10 years, so 10,000 or heavier, I would say I've done it maybe 10 or 15 times in 10 years.
Which is crazy, right?
Yeah.
It's 1 a year. And usually they pay it better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because if I see a load that's 10,000 pounds or 13,000 pounds, and it's not paying right, I why deal with it?
Right.
I can get a load that weighs 800 pounds that pays the same, and it's not stressing out my truck, or it's not some crazy temperature
Yep.
that we have to deal with. And it's like in the summer trying to get down into sub-freezing temperatures. How long? We had a store. You had to sit in a parking lot and wait for how long to get
Yeah,
in
out in
temperature?
California, in the middle of July or August, and I sat there for just under 9 hours.
Waiting to get, and that time is counting against your clock.
Yeah.
I mean, we're still on duty, and people say, well, what about detention? It's not a normal job.
Mm-mm.
It's what you get out here. The big difference is like, I'm getting away from it, but you asked me what the difference is. I pull up to one business, I pick up one pallet, I drive to that other business, and I go, here's your pallet, and I'm done. Exclusive use is really nice.
Exactly. Yeah. Comparing that to the auto transport that you were just saying,
Oh,
having
man.
to move the vehicles around and all that, now we're dealing with one customer, door to door service. It's so much easier.
Yeah, or two customers that know they're working with each
Yeah.
other. Are there still things that bother us? People think the truckers are crybabies. And like we have Facebook groups, and it's like the water cooler where everybody congregates around the crowd and complains about this or that. But at the end of the day, if you ask anybody if they want to go back to what they were doing before, no, because I don't want to go back to what I was doing before. Do I miss DJing? Do I miss the energy of the crowd? I get chills. When the crowd would scream. I do a good mix or something. Yeah, I enjoyed that, but. As much as I love people and everything, the limited contact with the amount of stupidity in public right now, it's like even if you get to a shipper or a dispatcher that is not the nicest person to be around, which you're going to deal with people like that, all walks of life, no matter what you do, your engagement with them is very minimalized.
Very. Yeah.
It's like, even if they're a jerk and say, you go wait over there and you wait outside until it's your turn, fine. Go wait in my truck, play my video game, get on my PS4 or whatever. I try not to let stuff like that bother me, because I came from a place where there was a lot harder things that I had to deal with, and if you have something to reflect back on of hard times in your life, it makes where you are at now easier. If that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's remembering where you came from, I guess.
Now that you've been with FedEx for a while, how do you see yourself sticking around with FedEx? Do you see yourself doing this for the next 10 years?
Well, I want to stay in a truck in some capacity. And the reason being is, one, I love what I'm doing with the YouTube channel. I think I need that for content.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard not to
Sit in
do
the
trucking
office all
content
day.
if I'm sitting in an office all day. I want to keep my butt in the seat a little bit, maybe phase myself out eventually, partially do it part of the year or whatever. I do see a future of me and Stephanie out of the trucking. That's something that Stephanie and I have talked about, because she's much younger than me. What does she want to do? Does she want to be HR with the company? I told Patrick, I was like, can you imagine Stephanie calling you into her office? And he goes, yeah, I need to rethink this. Anyways, but what does she want to do? We enjoy our time on the road. We enjoy going to the places. Winter kind of sucks. We're up in here in Reno right now, and I came out of 65-degree weather, and it's snowing outside.
Yeah.
10 hours ago, I was in 65 degrees and sunshine. It's snowing, but I'm headed back to sunshine. So I got that working for me. Tomorrow I'll be in sunshine. I guess that's one of the things I like about the business now, is like that whole potluck of like, you're in Reno. You have no idea where you're going next. Don't you love that about this business?
I do. And I also like to get a little bit excited about what am I going to get. Not only where am I going, but what am I going to get? Because you never know in expediting, especially with white glove. I mean, you could be anything from pharmaceuticals to an art load to something that's hazmat and, priceless art or whatever,
Yeah.
So
Happens all the time. I mean, we've carried stuff that, we won't even talk about.
Right.
Because, I mean, we're both real careful about that. We respect who we work for, and FedEx has built a brand on their service and stuff like that. And we're both very respectful of that brand, and we both understand that we're at where we're at because of that brand.
Absolutely.
And I think a lot of people, I think that bothers me the most is what I was talking about earlier, the water cooler thing is the whining and the complaining. And if you're somebody new and you see that and you don't know, you can buy into it real easily. And trucking is, people come in with all of these, it's not all hunky-dory all the time.
No.
And there are a lot of things that you have to, somebody with 10 years experience understands that a lot better than the person who's just coming into it. And
there's a lot on these videos that we can't show people or that we can't talk about.
Right.
There's a lot of behind the scenes, so.
Right, and like I do departure calls, and there's certain things that they ask on a departure call that I cut out because there's certain things about our business that is intricate to the model of business that they offer. That's their business. If you want to know what it is, you can find out what it is. Call FX Custom Critical and tell them the parameters that you want to load shipped in, and they'll find out. If you want it done a certain way, this is the company to call.
Absolutely.
You know, if you say I want this done and I want security and I want this and this and this, you can get it done. This is Burger King of shipping, right? You can have it your way.
That's a good analogy.
That is a good analogy because it's like if you want something done the right way and handled to very specific terms, call these people.
Yeah.
They will take care of it. Whatever you want, they can make it happen. It's just so many things that we know that we can't talk about that are so cool about the business. But at the end of the day, it's better than working a normal trucking job or a normal 9-to-5 job.
I would completely agree with that.
You know, you sat at a desk, and even though you got music and everything, your pay is quite better, I'm sure.
Yes.
And as you pay things off, you know,
pay things off and you build up more.
Yeah, but you just gotta stop buying the newer, shinier thing, Jerry.
I like my toys.
Yes, he does. So do I. But I'm getting older, and I'm like condensing down and like just trying to, you know, figure out what works best for me. And so yeah, I am going to be here for a while. I see myself being with this company probably forever.
I would agree with that. Like, I would never work, you know, that's it. Patrick and Eric and this company that we're with under FedEx, like, I would never work for anyone else. If this ever comes to an end, that's it. I'm out of trucking.
Because it's, how do you find something else that compares?
Right.
I was gun shy. Even if I thought about doing something myself, I have to go up against those guys, and I know what they're building.
Yeah.
You know, and the support that I got from them from the beginning. Now, I'm a natural go-getter. You know that. You know, I'm a self-starter. I'm a Taurus. And I don't believe in zodiacs and stuff, but I believe in the tendencies of people born. A lot of the people that are Tauruses that I get along with, we're both that take charge type of person. And, you know, ask for forgiveness instead of permission sometimes. And you have to make a decision. And critical thinkers in this world are so hard to find anymore. People who can just make a decision. And I think that's what, you know, you and I are good friends. We don't exactly share the same political beliefs, and we're not going to talk about that. But at the same time, we've understood that we can still coexist and be friends and believe differently. Before social media, nobody talked about this crap. Now it's just thrown in everybody's face. And I just learned to filter all of that stuff out. And I think critical thinkers, a young society, people who can think on their feet and make a decision, do well in this business.
Absolutely.
Because especially the environment that we're in now with the thing changing with our load board and the TBL, you got to make a fast decision. And sometimes you make that decision and you get that alert for a better load that came out, or you continue to watch the load board and you accepted a $5,000 load, and here comes that $8,000 load that, had you waited, that would have been your load.
Yeah.
Or at least you think so.
Yeah.
Or you're told that you don't, but then you skip the $5,000 load, and then the $8,000 load comes, and you're sure that's your load, but somebody had a dry run and they just bumped you out of the queue. their load got canceled and they bumped you out of the queue, and then you missed the 5,000 and the 8,000. So it's a game of not knowing. It's like there's just enough mystery in there for them to keep us all on our toes.
That's true.
And it's like we said before, that whole not awarded, you get tired of it and tired of it. If you're sitting in the Northeast and you're not using a load board, you will get 100 C-Link opportunities in a day. There is no lack of business. Now, which ones are good and work for your business model and what you want to take? Do they all fit? No, there's only going to be a small percentage. Other people are looking for that small percentage of loads too, so they might wait too. So it's a game.
Yeah.
And figuring it out and being successful in that game, you've been successful. I think we've bred that culture in our company. There are people who just are happy making $15,000 a month to the truck. I can't imagine. That doesn't cover the cost of the truck.
Right.
You know what I mean? You have to be a go-getter. You have to want it. You have to have that desire to go out and get it. Heather and Jason talk about that a lot. That's another channel that we are friends with.
The Crafty Trucker.
The Crafty Trucker. And, they are a big example of go-getters. People who went out there, learned the business, worked for other people, bought their own truck. They did their own thing. They did it their way. They make good business decisions for themselves. They did a video where they got a lot of grief about turning down a $9 a mile load. It doesn't make any sense, and people don't understand the time that gets involved. And they can sit out there and they can go, "Oh, you're such a big deal. You can turn down a $9 load." If a $9 a mile load is 100 miles and it pays you $900, you think you get that done. Well, if you're in LA and it costs you to be there another day, which they had to,
Yeah.
and it cuts into your time, well, that could be a $9,000 load that you're missing. And all of our business as independent contractors, at the end of the day, we're commission salespeople,
Absolutely.
right? So if you're making a percentage of $900 or a percentage of $9,000, which would you rather do? And they both take 2-3 days. So that's something that I think is a important thing, is like, you have to be hungry. If you just want to come out here and be a professional vacationer, it may last a little. There are people that come out here and do that, and there are owners that get taken advantage of like that. We're lucky we haven't seen that.
Right.
But there are people out here who don't want to work.
Or they'll only, like you said, that 15,000. They'll take 1 or 2 big paying runs, and then they want to spend the rest of their time just having fun and enjoying.
And the truck payments still do.
Yeah.
Everything in that truck has to be paid for. The Qualcomm that we use has weekly pay. Insurance has to be paid. All these things. I mean, my truck was almost $280,000. The truck that you're in is $260,000. And these truck payments, they're not cheap.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a $5,000 truck payment is not unheard of. The fuel in these trucks is crazy. When they're sitting here, the maintenance, because now we are part of a bigger fleet, we have a bigger pool and we can go anywhere in the nation and we're taken care of. If we need tires, if we need a tow. Oh my God. If you haven't seen that video about him, you got to go check that out and link that one up for him.
Yeah, definitely.
But the resources that we have of being backed by a big company like FedEx, and now a good sized fleet owner that has good resources, that makes it a little bit easier on us. We're not going, "Oh, let's, you broke down in San Diego, let's get you to Oklahoma because I like this shop better and they're going to save you $30 an hour." No, it's like, "No, let's fix this. Wherever you are, let's get it fixed, get you back on the road." And it's that's refreshing.
Right.
Some people, I guess you've heard, we work on what's called a 40% split.
Mm-hmm.
And we have bonuses and stuff, so we make 40% of the line haul. There are people out there that get the 60% and they pay the fuel. Sounds great, right? You're going to make a lot more money. A lot older trucks, usually.
Yeah.
With a lot more issues, usually. That's not a bad model. If that's what the owner wants to do and he's paid off the truck and he's comfortable with doing that and those people are comfortable, great. It's how you choose to do it. I rather the creature comforts. If I'm going to be out here with my wife and you're going to be out here with your partner for 6 to 8, sometimes 10 weeks at a time, then I want to be as comfortable as possible. I have a bathroom in our truck. You have a bathroom in your truck.
Yes.
Did I tell you that I would get you a bathroom in the truck, that you would get there?
It's the first time I've ever had a bathroom truck, and I would never go back. Never. Like, it's
a big, big difference. You know, there are people out there that do it with a porta potty. I've never used a porta potty in my life.
I haven't either. My mom swears by them, but
I've never used. Stephanie has, because you know I had one in the truck. I never used that thing, ever. I'm like, looked at it, I'm like, new. But is that they are called porta potties?
Yeah.
Right? And the big blue ones outside are porta potties.
Yeah.
I'd rather use those than the ones in the truck. Yeah. I mean, it's like, at least I know that that's not going to splash me. That's way down there. I'm like, and I'm not a diva by any means, but I'm just looking at that thing. I'm like, especially now, I've lost some weight, but before when I was a big boy, I was afraid I was going to break that thing and then I was going to be all over me. And I'm like the worst things you can envision, I'm thinking about. I'm like going, yeah, me pulling myself off the truck floor, cleaning up all this chemical. No, I'm not doing it.
That's hilarious.
I'm just like, no. I'm like, I am not going to be made into somebody's meme. And my wife would take a picture and put it on the internet.
Stephanie Snow would do that, yes.
I'm just not going there.
Yeah, you were talking about being a go-getter out here. Like, I definitely see that mentality in a lot of people that we work with and in myself. Like, you know, we strive for 25,000 plus gross to the truck, and we want that on every truck. But that is something that I strive for, and so.
And we also hit bonus when we hit that amount.
Exactly.
So we get a bonus. So if we hit that amount gross, we get a bonus.
So like, you know, we're just now coming into February, and for January, you know, I hit that goal, way over that goal. But it's like February 1st. Okay, that's all out the window. That's done. January is great. I'm on to February. It all starts over.
But now I talk him down off a ledge.
He does a lot.
Because he'll call me and he's sitting here and today it's already the 5th and he's like, or 4th, and he's like, I haven't gotten anything on the month of February yet. I said, yeah, but if you get a $5,000 or $6,000 load in the next couple of days, you're that much closer and you're ahead. And Jerry gets that because he'll get out of here. It always works out.
Yeah, it does.
It does. I mean, there's very few months that you're like crying over what you made. I mean, the last time I heard you cry was when he wanted to go home early. He was trying to push you to make you stay out till Thanksgiving.
Oh.
Didn't want to take 2 weeks off in the month of November. But you guys did it, and you guys killed it. And that's the thing. And that's sometimes it's the hard decisions in trucking.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, the Stephanie one, and I got to tell you, I want to give Stephanie props. Stephanie is much younger than me. Beautiful girl, you know, does not look like a trucker. You know, when you think about Stephanie, if you put her in a lineup and guess what she does for a living, you know. Stephanie will be tired and we'll be headed home and that $7,000 load will come across the screen and she'll be the first one to hit accept. And she's tired and everything, but she's got that go-getter mentality. And that's what puts us in sync, because if she doesn't accept that load, I'm not going to say anything because I like my happy wife, happy life. But at the same time, knowing that she does, I feel like I have a partner in it that is committed to the same goals. And knowing where you're going, you know, we talked about a reveal on my video. And we you know that everybody has a different reason for doing what we're out here doing.
Yeah.
Some people got grandkids at home that they babies they want to spoil. Some people got their home life and their cars and their little escape from this, which you have one, a new one in the last year. You had some hurdles to go through that, and then you got through those. And I said, and I remember talking you through that, and here you are. You're okay. We keep our home life real minimal, and our expenses at home real minimal because we like to spend our money on travel. And I'm really bad about bringing people into this bug with me. And I invite people. And I think I finally got Jerry and Dawn to bite on the hook. And so, do you want to tell?
So we are planning a trip. This will be mine and Don's first overseas trip. But it's someplace that I have wanted to go since, gosh, probably the last 10 years I have wanted to go. And Frank and a few other people were planning a trip, and they kind of invited us along. So we are taking off in May of this year for 3 weeks to Italy. And I couldn't be
Look at that!
more
Look
excited.
at that smile.
I'm just like every day I wake up and I'm just one day closer, one day closer. I'm overwhelmed with joy. And I'm, first of all, Patrick and you and everybody that's going, a huge thank you for even inviting us.
Oh yeah.
But it's definitely a dream come true, and we're so looking forward to the trip. Me and Donna are planning for it like crazy. So.
And Stephanie and I, we normally take the whole month of February off because we like to get away the winters. It takes away from most of this stuff that we're driving through, and we've been a little stressed because we've been gone most of the winters.
Yeah.
We went to New Zealand last year. We went to Fiji the year before that. We went to Thailand. Went to Bali. And so now we have to put it off because I didn't want to go to Italy in the winter. I'm getting away from here. So now I got to live through the winter a little bit longer over here. And we put this trip together in May and June. And we're all meeting over there. And we've got an itinerary planned out. And we're going to travel all over Italy. And one of the cool things that we did, because there are so many people going, is we're able to subsidize the cost of a lot of the lodging, which has made it really reasonable. And the flights were still expensive, but when you pan it out over 3 weeks, and you figure that into your daily cost, it's not that expensive. And I'm really excited to bring people. I love sharing my experiences. That's why I do the YouTube thing. That's why you do it.
Right.
And I love doing that, and to offer that to you and see the enjoyment that you got out of it. And we tried to do turkey on Thanksgiving. Yeah. We were going to do a turkey, go to Turkey on Thanksgiving and try to eat turkey on Thanksgiving in Turkey. Stephanie still wants to do that, which still might happen, but turkey's it's got to be the perfect thing, and the timing wasn't right. But as soon as we dropped that Italy word, we had no idea the size of fish that we had on the hook. Because he just kind of nibbled on it for a couple of days before he told us about.
I literally was on the phone with Patrick.
Go ahead.
And after he invited, I hung up the phone and I was driving, and Don was sitting next to me in the truck, and I just kind of turned and looked at him, and I was like, "They just invited us to go to Italy." I was like, "How long are we going to wait before we say yes?" And he's just like, "What? Are we going to talk about it?" And I'm like, "It's Italy. It's someplace that I have wanted to go for years. We are going. I don't care what I have to do. We are going."
I'm selling my soul to the devil. Yes. Meet me at the crossroads.
And then after we even talked about it for not even 10 minutes, he's off camera. And he was on board because he wants to go as well. It's definitely a dream come true.
That's awesome. And that's the kind of thing, and you build so many friendships that I've made since coming over here, with you guys. Because you guys and I met a while, and it was in Ontario, and I put you on Life 360, but we never linked up after that. And then I started my YouTube channel.
Then
I stumbled onto yours.
Well, yeah, I seen yours though. And then he left a comment, and I'm like, "Oh yeah," and I'm replying to him, and then he calls me, and he's like, "Jerry, this is me, Frank. We met out in Ontario." And I'm like, "Oh my God!" I didn't even recognize him. So
yeah, and Don, wasn't it you that said? I think that was the guy Frank we met in Ontario or something like that. Yeah. So and I didn't know he was doing a YouTube channel. He had never. I sit down. I tell everybody I've got a YouTube channel. This guy had one, didn't even say anything. And I'm like, why? But he will tell you. I will walk in and start a conversation
with anyone.
With anyone.
About anything.
Yeah, and it's just, and that's just me. I've always been that way. It's like I just kind of, I love people, and I enjoy it. And if I see somebody in a bad situation, or I feel like they're being taken advantage of, whether it's purposely or not on purpose, if I think they're good people, or if I feel like I can help, I always try to help. That's just my nature. And I kind of, you weren't, I didn't think that anybody was trying to hurt you and Don per se with what was going on, but I knew the situation. I could better your situation when I approached you about it. But it was really hard because you had been told so many things in your career, and we were down to one of last two choices for you.
Yeah.
It could have gone either way, right?
Yeah.
Glad you came this way. I'm glad you came this way.
Yep, I am too. I'm very happy.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, the future, back to what we were talking about, yeah, I see myself staying with this company for a long time, part in the seat, part out of the seat, being around to see where this goes. Ceiling's the limit. Sky's the limit with this company. I mean, I don't see, we're constantly buying trucks. You see what Patrick goes through on every single truck that he goes. That's a big misconception too. People think, oh, it's a brand new truck, it's perfect.
No.
This is not like a brand new car where there's lemon laws to protect you. This is a business to business thing, and there's all sorts of problems that they come from the factory with these trucks, and you don't know until you start driving them. We had a truck with 56,000 miles. 56,000 miles. Just had a one box go out on it. You know, we're talking about, you know, the whole DPF system. It's supposed to go for 500,000 miles. Gone. And you can't predict stuff like that in trucking. And Patrick goes through and does a shakedown on every single truck, gets an alignment done on a brand new truck, does all this stuff, and you, for the most part, now you got unlucky because you moved into a D unit and you had some problems. That was like Ghost in the Machine. That was the truck that had the disco lights, and you had rain falling down on your head.
The disco lights was the first truck.
The first truck.
Rain falling on my head was this truck that I'm in now.
Oh yeah. Did you tell them the disco light story?
I think so in the YouTube video. I'll have to see if I can find that and link it.
Oh, it's so funny. I mean, they're going down the road and lights are just going off intermittently in the truck, and I'm like, I hope you put on some good music to it.
Don was driving because it was at night, and I was in the sleeper, and he hollers at me. He's like, I don't know what's going on, but could you come up here? And I'll walk up there, literally, like the overhead lights, the lights in the doors, the lights on the outside of the truck, everything was just flashing all over and blinking. And
your windshield wiper.
The windshield wipers was going.
And the one that wouldn't turn off, and it ran all your...
Yeah, the washer fluid just started spraying everywhere. We were in Florida. Wouldn't shut off.
We were going to have an exorcist done.
Frank, it has been awesome talking to you. Thank you so much for coming over.
Thanks for having me. I'm glad that we were able to do our thing. And
we don't run into each other often out here, but when we do like to catch up. And it's nice hearing each other's background and experience. So, yeah. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up. If you're new here and you love the video, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the bell icon so you get notified of new videos. As always, keep those wheels a-turning. And until our next one, take care, everyone.
Bye.